talk about.
That's why we
All
try
right.
and intersperse in the fun topics with the politics, right? We do entertainment and politics because it's all very entertaining.
That's true. That's a good point. Um, so I don't know, the acronym of the year so far is DEI.
Oh, yeah.
Trump is on a full assault on DEI, aka diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you don't know, which I'm pretty sure everyone fucking knows that by now.
They should.
Uh, you really should at this point. Like, I think even Secret Lair is getting a DEI drop. I think. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so Trump obviously signed an executive order, obviously, because that's what he loves to do, to ban DEI initiatives in executive branch, and also for contractors. So um, Trump has also blamed the DC plane crash on DEI, which made literally no fucking sense. No fucking sense at all because he stated we are in the early stages of um, the flight investigation when it first happened, and he said, however, pretty much this is because of DEI, which is uh fucking doesn't make sense at all.
Nope.
Uh, and then the funniest part of all of this is that his daughter-in-law Laura Trump gave an anti DEI speech where she stated jobs should be given quote on merit and merit alone, which is just fucking rich. She has a communications degree, and then with her connections with the Trump family, is currently co-chair of the RNC.
Yep. She took over the RNC during the election.
So how the fuck did she get that on merit and merit alone? So by the way,
Oh, I know how. I know what merit she used, right? She went down on Eric.
I mean, I don't really. Is that a merit?
I mean, I'm sure it's hard work. Have you seen that goofy looking motherfucker?
Is it that hard work though? It's like probably 10 seconds.
Um,
I don't know.
I don't know. So the thing that I did, I posted a TikTok earlier this week, and this is the point that I made about the whole discussion about DEI and what they brought up, and this is where I'm gonna bring it around, because I think what we need to do, and this is where I think the Democrats have failed, right? It's a messaging issue, and the reason I bring that up is I brought this up earlier this week to my fellow veterans. Is I said, hey, my fellow veterans, when he's talking about DEI, they're talking about you. Okay? Veteran status is a protected class in this country, right? Under the Civil Rights Act, veteran status is a protected class. Okay? Why? Because people discriminated for a long time, especially after Vietnam, against veterans because they thought you were all crazy, psycho, broken people, right? That's why there's things like veterans preferential hiring, right? When you apply for a federal agency, you get preferential hiring treatment if you are a veteran. You get more if you are a disabled veteran, right? So when they're talking about DEI, when he's talking about, hey, the FAA was trying to push for more disabled people, right? The people they're talking about, my fellow veterans, is you Trump voting fucking idiots, okay? They are talking about you, okay? You are part of this DEI initiative, right? This applies, and again, I think what they haven't done with DEI is shown how it affects, because somebody in the chat brought this up, right? They said they're using DEI as a dog whistle, right? And they absolutely are using it as a dog whistle. The reason they're able to is that we have not done a good job communicating the benefits of DEI and why DEI is important and who all it affects, right? Okay? It doesn't just affect people of color and women, and it's it's people who are disabled, right? It's people who are of varying sexual orientations or gender identity. It affects a lot of things. Okay, so when they're talking about DEI, I think more people should realize that it also applies to them, right? And so when the Trump administration is being like DEI bad, and you're cheering, you might be cheering for your own demise here. You know, that's my soapbox, though. I mean, do you disagree with anything I said there?
No. And this is the thing that like really like kills me is because I feel like I feel like it's a really like an attack on this like quote unquote like woke culture. Like you're creating a villain to go after to try to like defeat, right? Because I sit on a DEI council at work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a private company. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Um, so fuck Trump. But um,
It actually came up in our management all hands today. We had an all hands management with our CEO as well today, and it came up
really,
specifically with the administration doing executive orders, and we have federal contracts, right?
oh
How does
yeah,
this affect our DEI initiatives? And to put not too fine a point on it, they were basically like, it doesn't. First off, our company's based out of Spain, right? So, and the CEO of our company is a woman, right? And it's a family, it was a family that started. She's one of the people that started the company back in the 70s. You know, we're going to continue to do what we've been doing, But yeah, it came up.
nice.
But your company, the company you work for, we're not going to go into details here. Yours is standing on their DEI principles,
Yeah.
and you're
So
on that council.
on that council, executive leadership kind of came out with a statement saying nothing is going to change. This is our core value. We're gonna stick it out. But I think a lot of times though, what people don't understand, kind of going back to your point, is like, what does this actually mean?
Yeah.
So, like, for the company that I work for, what does DEI mean? Like, what do we do? Um, One of the things that we put in place is like a program, right? That will, when you upload your resume, it automatically takes out information such as your name,
Mm-hmm.
uh, dates of like when you went to school, so we can't figure out how old you are. If you were in like a sorority, right? Like you take that out, so we can't tell that you're a female. And then the hiring manager gets this resume, and it is the whole thing is so that you look at their merit and their merit alone. You're like, do I want to interview this person? Do I want to call them into the office and interview this person? Um, Instead of having some sort of like, I don't know.
Unconscious bias. It's it's
Yeah.
it's unconscious, and this is the other thing I don't think we've done a good job communicating. Um, and somebody in the chat brought up Jon Stewart, and I'll tell you, ironically enough, it was in his book, The Daily Show, like when he wrote the book about the story of the Daily Show and how the Daily Show went, and it's all the behind the scenes stuff. It's not that it's this was how the Daily Show developed over 20 years while he was hosting. He does part of a chapter where he said they started noticing that even if they asked, the headshots and resumes they were getting for correspondence was white dudes, because that's a lot of the comedy world is white dudes.
Okay.
And he said one of the things that they had to do was they realized that these people weren't biased intentionally, right? It's unconscious. It's a subconscious thing that they do. And he talks about the process they went through, very similar to what you're describing, where it was send me not name, don't, and making that conscious choice to do extra, right? to beat out those subconscious biases, to beat out those unconscious biases. And I think a lot of people get offended. And again, we haven't done a good job of communicating. Having an unconscious bias does not make you a bad person, right? Everyone has them.
Yeah.
It's when you're letting those unconscious biases make decisions for you and not interrogating those biases, that's when you're screwing up. Right? And my camera decided to wig out there. Anyway, now it's back. Okay, good. Well, let me get all blurry for a minute. I said, you're doing it again. Don't do it, camera.
Do it.
But
yeah, it is like it's really interesting. I don't think like at least at my company, but I kind of get a sense this is the majority of companies out there. No one is getting a stack of resumes and then going, man, this person went to Harvard. They have a really amazing work history, but I'm not going to hire this person because I'm going to hire this, I don't know, communication degree major that is not relevant, but I'm going to hire them because they're a woman or LGBT or whatever. Like,
anything. Yep.
no one's doing that. It's you created a fake enemy to go after. It's so stupid to me. Like every time when it comes up in the news, I just like cringe because I'm like, that's not what DEI is. Like you guys are so stupid.
Well, see, this is again where it comes back to what we were talking about in one of the earlier segments. I feel like it's all smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a dog whistle and it's red meat to the far end of the base to make them feel better, right? And distract them from the damage that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? And that to me is what it is. You know, because you're right. He has no control over private companies.
No. Nope.
Right? And there's a lot of companies who are like, screw you, we don't care. You know? And I just, again, I don't think we've done a good job communicating it. I put it in the same bucket that I do when people talk about critical race theory.
Oh, God.
Right? When people are like, critical race theory bad, I'm like, do you understand what critical race theory is? Right? Like, it becomes a boogeyman that sounds really bad. And again, is actually pretty difficult to explain in a really cohesive, strong way. And so it's really easy for shitty people to latch onto things like CRT and DEI and turn them into these dog whistle boogeymen and be like, this is your problem, right? It's them with their DEI and their CRT. That's why you're miserable. That's why you're not successful. That's why you can't get ahead. And again, I think we've done a crappy job communicating why these things exist, why we need them. And again, this is why for me, you on the DI council, your thing, I'm going to go back to, again, to my veterans, right? A lot of whom supported Trump. And I'm going to go, listen, dumbass, right? This is you. They're talking about, when they're talking about the disabled people at the FAA, they're talking about you, disabled veterans, right? That's a lot of who's getting hired for these federal jobs that are disabled, right? I am considered 90% disabled by the VA. That's where I'm at, right? I am a disabled person. Okay? You guys got to get past this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say, I think Alicia Keys at the Grammys kind of put DEI perfectly. She stated, quote, "This is not the time to shut down a diversity of voices. DEI is not a threat. It is a gift. The more voices, the more powerful the sound. When destructive forces try to burn us down, we will rise from the ashes like a phoenix." And mic drop. Like I was like, there you go, boom.
Yep.
Alicia Keys.
There you go. All right. We're going to leave that one right there. Let us know what you think down in the comments below.